Hey, what's up guys, it's Fish here and welcome back to another beginning of the end times battle. Today we are back with another free-for-all and this time it is a 1v1v1v1 and what's interesting about this battle is that it's got a few factions we maybe not have seen before. It has the Dogs of War, which if you don't know is like a mercenary band with kind of cultures from every single faction in it, or the majority of a faction. You've got loads of humans, people throughout the entire empire. You have ogres, you have dwarfs, you have halflings, which is actually kind of cool as well, seeing a halfling unit in here, because obviously we haven't seen anything like the halflings in Warhammer Total War at all, which is a shame. Hopefully we'll get to see more of these guys in later ones. But yeah, it's a really interesting faction, kind of a very diverse roster that they have, and I also love these catapults as well. That's also really cool. Then we have the Tomb Kings over here, bringing in a whole manner of monstrous creatures and elite tomb guard. So I mean, just look how many of these guys they have. The Usabitai, I don't know how the hell to pronounce that. Probably ruined it. We also have some of the RB elephants as well as bone giants and archers and infantry, and obviously the screaming skull catapult is always very nice. And then we have the Ogre Kingdom, a faction we have not seen before, and they're already just rushing towards the Tomb Kings. They better be very careful in this battle. And the Ogre Kingdom is really interesting, so I don't know a whole load about them. I've seen them played in tabletop before, and they just look extremely expensive, but because they're so expensive, their units are really, really goddamn good. And you can already see it in the range. Like, they kind of have to get a bunch of these crappy, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Gnablars? It sounds like something from Rick and Morty. A bunch of these like crappy goblin type units, because they just, these dudes are just so expensive. There's 31 of these iron guts and they're just absolutely crazy. We also have some of the cavalry as well. I remember the impact charges on these riders just doing so much damage when they crashed into the enemy ranks. We also have some more Iron Guts bodyguard as well as three giants, and I always love the look of these giants as well. I think the people who created them did an amazing job. And then finally we have the High Elves coming out of the woods, trying to be like their woodland brethren, trying to hide in the woods for now. And I imagine these guys, yeah, they're marching out looking very, very cool. Just slowly marching out as we go out on very slow speed. So everyone's going to be coming together and clashing. It's going to be a really, really exciting battle. I'm not really going to run through the army comps because I don't feel like we really need to. I think we've kind of seen everything everyone's bringing when I was just hovering over the units, and I don't need to go back. So without further ado, let's get this battle goddamn started. Let's go up to normal speed. And I think the first battle we'll see is the Ogre Kingdom coming over as fast as they can, with all these goblins just looking for a scrap, which is awesome. I love people who just don't mess about. We do get a pretty big explosion. I think that's to do with a magic coming out. Yeah, or maybe it's a screaming skull catapult. What is actually shooting? Oh, it's whatever these are. The chariots of the gods. I imagine it's like a magic cavalry, which is currently forming up. The ogres are, the ogres are now making their way up, because obviously the ogres are the main meat of the army. The rest of the, I'm just going to call these guys the Usabitai. Yeah, the Usabitai. I don't know. Probably butchering it. But yeah, these guys are going to be forming up, and I imagine they're just going to run straight through these goblins. Oh, wow. They actually shoot. What the hell is that? Holy crap. Look how many of them are getting pushed down to the ground. What the crap was that attack? These dudes are insane. Do they have like magical daggers or something? They just like straight up netted them. Yeah, look at that. That just ruins the charge on them. Wow, that is an insane attack. Oh, come on, please charge into these skeleton warriors. Come on, let's go. I want to see what these riders can do on the impact. Oh no, they're kind of like, that was a crappy charge. That was very, very disappointing. The rest of the Iron Guts are forming up. We've got the missiles and their huge crossbows. I imagine they might be impacting like ballistae. But yeah, look at that. Their like web attack is just really like disheartening the assault right now. Oh, nice, beautiful. The Iron Guts are getting stuck in. They are up against these casket guards, so some pretty decent units, but I imagine the Iron Guts are just going to rip them apart. I can't really imagine them really standing up too well. Oh, we also have a cavalry charge coming in as well. The Dragon Princes seized this opportunity whilst they were engaged on the front lines by the Tomb Kings and came in and just absolutely ruined the Ogre Kingdom cavalry. This is really smart by the by the High Elves here. Whilst they're busy, shooting, focusing down the enemy of the Tomb Kings, they can just come flying in. The Dogs of War are currently sitting up and not really getting involved quite yet. I'm sure they're biding their time as we get some more cavalries from the rest of the Ogre Kingdom coming in, hitting into the back of these casket guard. I love the way the casket guard have just a huge two-handed weapon. That is really, really cool. Oh, the Dragon Princes, man. The goddamn Dragon Princes from the High Elves just making their way around the flank, seizing their opportunity, getting their charges off when they need to. And there's a kind of a faint charge off there. A few of them do get stuck in. We also have the rest of the High Elf army as well making their way up here. Lots of archer fire coming in on top of the chariots of the god. But it does look like the White Wolves are going to have to fight these monsters from the Tomb Kings right now as the charge comes flying in. Really nice assault. I mean, I doubt they're going to be able to break this front line. This front line is a straight up Phoenix Guard, even with the chariots of the gods helping out. These Phoenix Guard are just so elite. I mean, just look at that line. And having the entire front line of Phoenix Guard is just absolutely awesome. The High Elves also have a position set up on this left flank as well. They have all their mages, all their Lord Masters. Oh, they have a load of missiles here. This is really smart, using all their missiles to harass these guys, as well as their dragons on the far left flank, just again to cause a nuisance to all the dogs of war, you know, cavalry. You can see the amount of damage going in on these guys. They don't really stand a chance. All the missiles and the artillery. That's a good position here. They've got a nice defensive, you know, formation here with a bunch of missiles and, you know, sword masters, so they can keep the enemy at range. And if they do end up getting closer to them, then they can just use, you know, their elite infantry just to protect their soldiers. Oh, beautiful charge here right into the back of the Tomb Kings with their lances. That's going to be doing lots of HP damage. And obviously we have a Phoenix Guard in the front as well. The Screaming Skull Catapult is now trying to focus down this heavy amount of infantry though, and I imagine the archers will be following suit, trying to retaliate. How are the rest of the infantry doing? That's what I want to see. I want to see how the Ogre Kingdom are matching up now against the Tomb Kings. We can see the White Lions are getting beaten back slowly but surely, but the Ogre Kingdom's cavalry is just running through with the support of whatever the hell that goblin attack is. I don't know. Let me know in the comments because I'm really interested to find out. We also have the Giants going up against the Bone Giants. And it does look like the Bone Giants are probably losing this engagement to the normal Giants. But who knows? It's so hard to tell who's coming out on top on these engagements until numbers start falling, because Medieval 2 works off quite a heavy HP system. So we do have some of the Tomb Guard with halberds up against the Iron Bodyguard. Oh, the General actually just went down for the Tomb Kings. That's going to be pretty big, because I don't think the Tomb Kings' morale is that great. But as I was saying, they do have some halberds in here, which are obviously going to be doing great damage against the Ogres, keeping them at a distance, managing to really get stuck in. But I think the Ogre Kingdom, look how many, they've barely lost any Ogres whatsoever. And I feel sorry for the Tomb Kings because the High Elves have just been ruining them in the back. To be fair, the High Elves have been killing everyone. Oh, that was a huge hit right there. Thankfully, not killing too many, actually. The armor for the Phoenix Guard holding firm for a little bit longer as they try and help their White Wolves as they get closer and closer to the battle. The Dogs of War, though, are pushing on the kind of expedition of the High Elves right here, and the Sword Masters are having to go up to meet them. We're going to get the Knights of the Orochi? I don't know how to pronounce that. God, my pronunciation is absolutely appalling. And I think if the Dogs of War have so many cultures, trying to pronounce their name properly is just... But Dogs of War is like the worst faction for me. But we do get a really nice charge off there by the Valan Venators. We also have some of the Talian Legion. The Talian Legion looks pretty cool. This kind of looks like the Venice infantry from a normal game somewhat. I guess just more of them square shields. Oh, wow, yeah, we've also got some of these guys. What do they throw? They must throw explosives in the back lines? You can already see, yeah, the explosive, the bombs are like dropping and throwing these guys back and having to pick them back up. There's going to be a good charge off onto these Lord Masters, but I believe the Lord Masters are pretty decent in melee combat. Obviously, they're equipped with these huge swords, so I can't imagine that they're that outmatched over there. We go back to the other engagement as well. We can see that the High Elves are still coming out on top, considering everyone they're fighting. Maybe they've made somewhat of an alliance with the Ogre Kingdom, but I don't think so, as they come flying in to the side of the back, or I guess the side and the back of the Phoenix Guard and the Tomb Kings. Yeah, all the High Elf archer fire at the moment is focusing on the backs of these of this cavalry, which is a really smart move because I think they need to kill as many of these Ogre Rhino Riders as they can, because if they let them survive, they can just cause such a nuisance in the back line. Look, this entire archer line is undefended right now. And if the Rhinos were to get round after dealing with the Tomb Kings, then that could just spell really badly for them. Because I don't think there's much of a Tomb Kings left whatsoever. There's literally just this one unit of Tomb Guard left. Besides that, obviously this swarm right here. Yeah, but besides that, it's literally... Yeah, and a Bone Giant, but the Tomb Kings are pretty much out. And to be fair, they got really unlucky. They were fighting 2 people, whilst both these sides ended up kind of just deciding to gang up on the Tomb Kings. But in fairness to the High Elves as well, they were fighting on 2 fronts. They're fighting the Dogs of War, and the Ogre Kingdom just kind of naturally fought the Tomb Kings, which is unfortunate. That's kind of what happens in free-for-alls. You get these kind of different stories, and if you just end up being unlucky and having multiple people fighting you, you know, you just have to try and make the best of a bad situation and try your best to get as many kills, because obviously this is point scored, so if they could kill a lot of the units and do a lot of damage to the enemy forces, then maybe they could still come out on top. How are the High Elves doing? The amazing Sea Guard, obviously a spear and archer unit, are really, really versatile at engaging this. The Lord Masters seem to be doing okay against the Republic Guard. But I think with the cavalry charges coming in the back of them, they will be going down very, very soon. And is this routing? Yeah, the High Elves are actually routing back here. The Sword Masters are running. I think it's all the debuffs from maybe the catapults. Yeah, the Chariots of the Gods are debuffing these guys massively, and that's going to be routing them. So the Dogs of War have a pretty decent army left still remaining, and so do the High Elves. The High Elves have an okay army. Oh, this is what I was scared of. Oh, the Rhino, they're getting shot to pieces, but they're just going to come flying in. One of them does go down, but I don't think it's enough. These 3 Rhinos are just going to be able to run amok in the back of these lines. I think they're going to form up as best they can, but I imagine we'll be seeing reinforcements on the way in the form of these guys as well on the Rhino riders. The Phoenix Guard are definitely, you know, proving pretty strong, but it's just not enough. Oh yeah, they just don't have enough men. Yeah, by the looks of it, the Shadow Guard or Shadow Warriors are having to be committed against the Giants, which just aren't going to be the case. So I think it's going to end up being against the Ogre Kingdom and the Dogs of War left remaining to see who will come out on at least last man standing. But that's not what we're fighting over here. We're fighting over score resolution. So because of that, this battle could literally still go either way. Oh, we actually have the Chariots of the Gods shooting, you know, into this big clump of soldiers. The Ogres just look so scary. There's still so many of them left remaining with their cavalry as well. Yeah, oh my god, this Rhino cavalry is just going to be running amok in the back of these Sisters of Elon. They're going to try their best to kill them, but I just don't think they're going to take down any of them now they're here. There's still actually a few archers still left for shooting. So that's good, but you know, now we have the Bone Giants, or the normal Giants, sorry, coming into the back of these Phoenix Guards. Look how many of them are just dropping. Holy crap, that is doing so much damage to them. That was brutal, absolutely insane. And obviously we have all these archers as well. Or are they javelin men? I swear they had crossbows. I guess maybe they've run out of crossbows and now they've pulled out them. I don't really know, but the High Elves look like they are spent right now. We do still have some artillery up here from the Dogs of War, which are shooting. Oh yeah, the cannons right now. I mean, these cannons, I guess, should be turning over on towards the Ogre Kingdom now, because they must realize at this point that they're gonna beat the... Oh no! To be fair, a lot of the High Elves have come back, and they're now fighting the Ogres of the Dogs of War. Some pirate ogres. This is kind of cool as well. You also have like a Russian ogre or a Kislevian ogre. You have some pirate ogres. You have like Empire ogres. You also have more like I guess Southern Empire. You have Chaos Dwarf ones. You also have like ninja. There's like a ninja ogre as well somewhere. Let me see if I can find the ninja ogre because he looks really cool. And maybe over, oh there you go. You can see the back of him right there. Yeah, he's got kind of like a face mask on as well. It's like a really cool looking unit for the Dogs of War. And the High Elves, this is kind of like their last stand. We also have what remains of the Tomb King still remaining. I mean, these Chariots of War, or Chariots of the Gods, definitely cause a nuisance to both sides. They're like, that must still have racked up a bunch of kills. But as soon as the Phoenix Guard goes down, which they're going to right now as the Rhinos come flying into the back, this entire Ogre army is going to be turning and making its way over. Oh, there's actually some Wasabi back as well. When did these guys come from? I did not notice them. But basically, all of the Ogre Kingdom now are going to be focusing towards the Dogs of War as what remains of the High Elves try and hold off and just do as much damage as possible. So they can definitely do a lot more damage. You know, they still have some Swordmasters left, which is never to be underestimated. The Swordmasters are an extremely elite unit. You can see by the way they're spinning round, that just tells you that they're elite. And the question is as well, have the Dogs of War, because the Dogs of War probably have the most left out of everyone. Oh, nice cannon shot there by the Dogs of War, taking down the High Elf General. Is that going to be it for the High Elves? A lot of their units are starting to rout now. Luckily, the Swordmasters are a little bit more sturdy, but that's still going to have to be a worry for the High Elves. But yeah, as I was saying, the Dogs of War maybe have the most left out of everyone, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win, because there is a lot of, all the Ogres have done a lot of damage, and I mean, so have the High Elves as well. The High Elves have done a lot of damage. We see what the Tomb Kings are forming up now to get ready to receive a charge by the Iron Guts. And the Iron Guts, are they just going to try and avoid these dudes, or what? Are they going to just retreat, or I'm interested to find out. You got these guys shooting their huge crossbows. Oh, they just decimated this entire unit of a... Oh, God, this entire unit of a Tomb King unit. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. I'll just butcher it. Chariots of the Gods are still causing a nuisance back there. But yeah, these Iron Guts are going to be running down what remains of the Tomb King's guard and just killing them. You can see their numbers dropping pretty rapidly. Granted, now the charge has stopped. You know, I imagine one of the real strengths of the Ogre Kingdom are their brutal charges, as they're just unstoppable engages when they first hit the shield wall. And once they're slowing up a bit, they maybe get a little bit less deadly, and it's just really their HP that comes into play there. I'm really impressed by the High Elves still holding their line. Oh, yeah, we also have some Chaos units as well. The Cursed Company. That's really cool. I like that a lot. That's very nice. But the Swordmasters seem to be doing okay. However, look who's about to turn up. We have a, I assume it's like a mammoth, getting ready to come right into the flanks of, what was that? It actually calls it, it's an elephant. What the hell am I talking about? Oh, that's probably going to be it for the Swordmasters. Immediately routing as soon as that elephant just runs amok in the back line. And I guess this is the last unit right now? Yeah, I think this is the last unit for the High Elves. And that's going to be routing as well. So the High Elves out of this battle, they still have, their dragon units over here, right? Yeah, they still have their dragon units right here. And that's definitely still doing some damage. Killing the artillery back here is going to be racking up some really nice points. The looping company of cooks here, the half-goblins, the halfling archer unit. We also, yeah, the dragons are doing decently. They're definitely causing some damage back there, racking up some more kills. So the High Elves have their dragon left. The Ogre Kingdom have a lot of their infantry left. And the Dogs of War still have some of their ogres left. I mean, look at that charge. That was a deadly-ass charge. So I think the Ogre Kingdoms maybe are going to win this. Just because they've been fighting since the beginning of the game. They still have all of this left. Granted, they're getting shot to pieces by that cursed chariot, but now they have their crossbows focusing them down. I imagine their crossbows are like ballistas when they find their mark. Like, they'll be taking down these chariots of the gods pretty soon, especially with the amount of units they have. They have 2 units focusing it down. And I can't imagine the chariots of the gods is great at great at killing large units. I imagine it's more for like multiple infantry, low health targets. Yeah, look how much the Ogre Kingdom looks like it's barely been touched. Granted, all their crappier units have died, even though I don't really think they're that crappy, because they did so much damage to the Tomb Kings as they tried to charge them with their stunting attack or whatever the hell that was. The giant is coming up. I imagine this charge. Oh, charge gonna come in. Not really gonna do too much damage, but I think its main target is to try its best to kill the general for the Dogs of War and maybe cause a mass rout. So I can't imagine the Dogs of War have amazing morale. They do look like they've managed to silence the Ogre Kingdom cavalry for a little bit, but the rest of the Iron Guts are going to be turning up, and that's just, surely they can't stand against them. I mean, look at that charge. It's like, I think I've seen 20 dudes already go to the ground. The Dogs of War still have their Thunderers left from the Dwarfs, and if they can focus on some of these Iron Guts, that's the best way to kill them, I can imagine. Using these Dwarfs and their Thunderers, and just trying to kill as many of these ogres as possible. Because I imagine the ogres are worth a bunch of points in score resolution. The more of them they can take down, the better. Because if we think about it, the Dogs of War have only really fought like half the High Elf army. And the High Elves took a big risk by splitting up their forces, but it meant they could fight all the players at once. Oh, the Iron Gods are making their way closer and closer to the Thunderers. Oh, you poor dwarfs, you poor dwarfs. The Iron Gods are just gonna make literal guts of them. They're just running through them, surrounding them. And I think that's the High Elf Dragon. The High Elf Dragon hasn't gone down yet. It's decided to come over here and actually die. As I say that, it came over there to try and kill some of the ogres, but failed. The Dogs of War finally have a few units here. So the only two factions left remaining, by the looks of it, are the Ogre Kingdom and the Dogs of War. And there's not a lot of the Dogs of War left remaining either. We have some routed units over here. Anything impressive? We have a few of these skirmishers. We have a few. Yeah, this is where the main fight is going on. Everything else is pretty much just routing. The last couple brave dwarfs. There's the general going down from the missile fire from the ogres. Oh, that dwarf just got kicked to the ground. That was hilarious. That was such a good thing to cut to. Just literally, and you actually heard it as well. The dwarf just getting kicked to the ground. That was hilarious. We have the ogre banner up there in the distance. What is left of this battle? Battle goes on for like another 5,000 whatever these seconds are like up here. But I'm really confused. What do they still have remaining? If we zoom out, there's nothing by the looks of it that is still here after the dwarfs fall. The High Elves over here are routing, so they're not going to be a part of this battle. Is there something over here? That's routing, so that's not going to be a part of the battle. I'm really confused what's still remaining up here. Because it looks like, oh, these halflings. Oh, these poor cooks, they're running for their lives. I imagine these ogres will be turning around and chasing these guys down. The missile fire is going to be disgusting on these guys. So, oh, just run away, you brave halflings. The halflings, look at the Ogre Kingdom has so many men left. They lost their cavalry, but that's literally about it. Oh, the crossbows are forming up. Oh, are they going to be shooting? They're going to be shooting back their puny bows. We'll obviously slow-mo this. And the Bone Giant coming in as well. We'll go down to half speed and just watch these guys getting absolutely disintegrated. Oh, you poor halflings. You put up a good fight, but it just wasn't enough. And yeah, they're going to be getting destroyed. But now they're asking, what's even left? I'm really confused what the last like 3,000 seconds of this battle. It's not 3,000 seconds, but what remains of it. Because there's literally nothing left on the battlefield, I don't think. Unless there's something I'm missing. But I don't think there is. Is this all Ogre Kingdom? This is all Ogre Kingdom? I don't know. Well, we'll just triple speed through it. It shouldn't take a second, so don't worry, guys. And then we'll get looking into the kills to see who racked up or who won the battle. That's what I'm looking forward to. My bet's going to be on the... I don't know. I think the High Elves did a lot of damage, but I think the Ogre Kingdom just didn't give away many points. Oh, there's something over here, apparently. I don't think the Ogre Kingdom didn't give away many points. Oh, these beetles. Yeah, I don't think the Ogre Kingdom gave away many points, and they definitely took a load. So I think the Ogre Kingdom have this in the bag. They just seem like they're really, really OP in the battle. But that's the joy, you know. Everything doesn't have to be balanced. That's one of the things that I like beginning of the End Times 4. They accept that stuff isn't balanced, whereas Warhammer, you know, wants to be more of a more mainstream functioning game, so they try and balance everything out. But, you know, beginning of the End Times, stuff is OP in Warhammer. You know, if you had like a bunch of these ogres running towards you, they'd be pretty goddamn OP, and that's to be expected. They're fucking ogres, for God's sake. And magic as well in this mod is extremely strong. And again, that's to be expected. Of course it would be. And that's why I really enjoy playing these beginning of the End Times battles, because you get stuff, you get the really OP units. But it's not like every faction kind of has their OP units to use. And obviously, you know, you can only bring so many of these ogres. So if there was a gun line or some artillery, I imagine these ogres would go down really quickly. So there is still counters to them. But I feel like the beginning of the End Times team just really embrace it. What is left? Like, come on. What is still remaining? I can't even see anything on the battle. Oh, is there just one halfling still left? Oh, yeah, because it's scored resolution. I get it. Because it's scored resolution, because you can still run down units, and that's why. Because you can still get points from routing units, whereas in... oh, wow, the High Elves actually did it. The High Elves had enough to win. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. They definitely got the most 3,000 kills. They were fighting 3 people. I just felt like the Ogre Kingdom, because obviously the Ogres wouldn't have lost many men at all. Even if they deployed a bunch of men, maybe it's just that cavalry charge at the beginning which killed all the minor units for the Ogre Kingdom, which really screwed them over there. So first is the High Elves, second is the Ogre Kingdom, then it's the Dogs of War, and then finally the Tomb Kings coming in last. So just 4 men remaining. I mean, the Dogs of War, look how few kills they got, but they must have been really valuable ones to come third over the Tomb Kings, just because obviously they were killing ogres and mages and stuff like that. We can see at the kills, did any of the High Elves really get up a crazy amount of kills? The High Elves, the High Elf Mages and the Dragon Lords over 250 kills. Anyone else really doing that impressive? Oh, 435. Yeah, this is where their points came in. Killing them kind of goblin creatures from the Ogre Kingdom. Netting them almost 700 kills. And a bolt thrower as well, doing a very nice job. So there we have it. Another beginning of the End Times battle. Let me know in the comments down below what factions you want to see fight next in free-for-all scenarios and sieges and land battles. Do let me know. And also, obviously, make sure to drop a like and a comment down below. And let me know what your favorite faction in this battle was. Was it the Ogre Kingdom? Who were you rooting for, basically? And I'll see you guys next time, and fish out.